Today I'm going to be showing you how to turn these lovely cucumbers into pickles. And last weekend I did this for the first time and Jay walked me through this process. It's really not quite as hard as I thought, and what I've learned is moving out here to the country, it's really important to can all of our vegetables because then we can use them for months. So I'm going to show you how to do this step by step. So let's get to it. So here are the items that you're going to need today to turn those cucumbers into pickles. First of all, you need cucumbers, and I've got a lot of cucumbers, and these are just from the past probably 5 days in our garden. So you need cucumbers. Also need you a good cutting board and a knife. You need a couple, maybe 2, 3 or more bowls to put all your cut up cucumbers. You also want to use a mix of some type. I like to use Mrs. Wage's. We tried this last week and it worked great. We made a bunch of the kosher dill pickles. Well, today we're going to do a little bit of those, but mainly going to be doing some bread and butter pickles. And there's complete directions on the back of how to do everything. You also are going to need to use some jars, some mason jars. We have the ones they're called ball mason jars. Also need some vinegar. And you need quite a bit of vinegar. You need a measuring cup. I'm using one here for 3 cups because we're going to be using large volumes. And you need also a container to sterilize your jars. You can use a small container like this, like we did last weekend, and you can put about 3 or 4 jars in there. I ordered off Amazon this really cool kit that has this little tray here. You can lift the jars up and down. You can fit 7 of these quart-sized jars in here, and also has all of these little accoutrements that come with it. It has a funnel, it has a little lifter to pick up your jars, some tongs, a great little tool right here that you can put on the lid because the lid is magnetic and you can lift the lid off the jars, and a couple of other items that I'm not really sure what they are, but we're going to figure out how to use them. Also need some good oven mitts, and then an area over here that you can put your jars when they come out after you've sterilized them so they can cool. So those are the main things that you're going to need to get going. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slice up our cucumbers. So I'm taking some of the cucumbers and I'm slicing them where I just have like little rings. And then for some other ones, I'm going to take my jar and measure it. And these cucumbers would fit, if you can see here, they would fit standing up in the jar. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to slice them so we end up with some spears. Okay, so what we're doing now, Jay is getting this ready for me so we can sterilize our jars, and you have to take the lids off. So take the lids off your jars, and then we're going to put them in this little container I was showing you earlier. We're going to put some water in the bottom. And how much water?
Well, 2 to 3 inches.
Okay, 2 to 3 inches of water.
Make some steam.
Okay.
Don't want the jars to float.
Okay, did you hear that? Do not want your jars to float. And this little kit I was telling you about, it comes with this little thing where you can raise and lower your jars into the water. You need one more jar?
Need another jar.
I got another jar. So we're taking the lid off. We're going to put one more jar in. So it holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It holds 7 jars. Okay. Now it's down in here. And so we turn that on high. Mm-hmm. And it has to bubble.
It'll boil. Mm-hmm. About 10 minutes. Sterilize the jar.
Okay. About 10 minutes. So I put a lid on it? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
We'll sterilize the lids after that.
Okay, we'll be back in a minute. So I'm going to show you something really quick that I was showing you these tongs that come in this kit.
So these tongs are used, or can be used for individually picking the jars up after sterilization, where you can bring them over and set them on your
Okay, got it.
Juice, or any other way you would like to pick them up. And we'll continue that process.
And show me the other
Also
ones.
be used for cooking. Then after you have your pickles in the boiling water or the pressure cooker, whatever it is you're going to do, then these are used to pick up the full pickle jar, like that.
Okay.
Pull them out, mitt underneath, and bring them back over and put them down to cool.
Cool. So these are boiling for about 10 minutes?
Once it boils, 10 minutes is
Okay.
really.
On the back of here, it shows that you need to do 7 1/3. Let's look on here. Yep, 7 1/3 cups of water, and then 3 1/3 cups of vinegar. So we got the vinegar going, we've got the water going, and then on here, just 1 pouch of this pickle mix. And this is the kosher dill pickles. We're going to do some more of those. These are the ones we're doing for the spears, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All we do now is heat it up, stir it, mixing it occasionally, and bringing it to a low boil. As soon as it does, we turn the heat off, let it cool for a few minutes, put it in the measuring cup where it can be poured into the jars with the cucumbers in them for the pickling process.
We're going to try one of these. These are ones that we made last weekend. There it is, and I'm going to eat that little pickle. They're very good. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so it looks like it's going good. We've got steam. That means it's sterilizing. And how long do we let it steam?
10 minutes or so.
Okay, we got to steam for 10 more minutes. Thank you.
Welcome.
So we are now, we've pulled the jars up. They're all sterilized. And Jay's going to take these jars. We're going to put them over here. And they're going to dry. And how long do we wait before we put the cucumbers in?
As soon as you want to.
Oh, okay.
Cool down just a little bit.
Okay. Okay, here's our mixture. And it's been going. Now, does this have to go to a boil?
A low boil. As soon as it comes to a low boil and anything is dissolved, it'll put it off.
Okay, so a low boil. And then once it's all dissolved, we take it off. Got it. Okay, and Jay's putting some more jars in over here. Let me show you over here. This is what we've got going as far as cutting up everything. And so you need to have a couple different containers. This is for the smaller ends. Those are going to the top of your jar a lot. And then you've got some spears we've sliced over here. And then we have just regular rings, I call it, cut. So we've got this many more to cut up. And I'll be back. So Jay is now starting to stuff our jars with our spears. We'll get those filled up. What are you
Safety
doing?
tip, whenever you pour the pickle juice out that's hot, you always pour away from you.
Okay.
So in case you get a spill, the water that's very hot goes the other direction.
Okay, so now Jay's pouring the liquid into the jars. So you can see what it looks like when it all gets filled up. We've got 7 jars there. We've got spears and some. Oop, here he goes, and he's pouring it away from him so we don't get anything on ourselves.
Leaving about a 1/2 inch at the top.
Okay, 1/2 inch at the top. The stuff smells really good too. It looks really good, babe. After you get your pickles in the jars, we're actually going to add some garlic. And so I didn't tell you that at the beginning, so you also want to have some garlic on hand. And I like to go ahead and just buy, I get this at our H-E-B, our local grocery store. I like to just get some fresh cut garlic. It's already cut for you. We're going to take 2 of them, and we're going to put 2 in the top of each jar. I'm just going to plop them in there. I'm going to plop 2 in the top of each jar. So now our second batch of jars are done, and we're bringing those and putting those out. So we're going to take these jars, and I'm going to stuff those with these cucumbers, and I'll be back. So now we have taken all of the lids out. The lids were in here, we're boiling them. Now we've got the lids when they're going to dry. So now we are making another batch, but this time we're going to use the hot and spicy pickles. So again, the directions are on the back, and you look on here and it's 3 1/3 cups of the vinegar and then 7 1/3 cups water. And then we take this packet, we put it in there, and we stir it up. There we go. Thank you. And we stir it up and we get it to boiling. And everything you see floating in there, that's from this hot and spicy mix. And in here we have some more jars that are sterilizing. Over here, we're doing pretty good. This batch here, we're going to actually make these the hot and spicy. And then we've got these cucumbers left over here to put in jars. Okay, so now what I have done is I took this spicy mixture and it has boiled and it's now ready to go into the jars. And I've already put a little bit into a couple of these jars. So you'll see right here at the top of the jar, there's some of this spicy mixture. And let me tell you, this stuff is really strong. So you may, excuse me, you may want to put a mask on or just be really careful when you're breathing it in. I'm really kind of starting to get a little bit nervous. I think these are going to be super spicy. It smells good, but it is strong. So now we are taking the jars that are full of the cucumbers and we're putting them back in the water. The water has to boil.
Pickling mixture has been added to them and they've been sealed on top.
Okay, got it. Pickling mixtures in here, they've been sealed on top. And how long do they go back in now?
So they go back in for, excuse me, 15 minutes.
Okay.
They need to be brought to a boil.
Okay.
15 minutes from the time they boil.
All right. So our first set of dills are still in here and they are sealing. We're getting ready to make another batch over here. And this is going to be the bread and butter pickles. And for this, you're going to put in 6 3/4 cups of vinegar and 7 cups of sugar. Wow. And 1 pouch of this mix. And then you're going to heat it up like we did before. So we have in here our 7 cups of sugar and we added the pouch of mix. And now we have to put in, how much vinegar? 6 3/4 cups of vinegar. So we're still stirring the bread and butter pickle mixture. And be sure when you get this, like I said, I'll put the link for this Mrs. Wage's mixture below in the description below the video. But be sure and follow the directions because each one is a little bit different. And if this is being helpful to you, please pop that like button so that way YouTube knows that you like us. And I will be back in just a few minutes. And Jay's getting ready to come check on our jars over here. Are they done?
They are. It's time to take them off.
Okay, so he's going to take those off. So we'll watch him take those out. Here we go. So these will sit here and dry and cool for 24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours. The lids, actually have pressure in them right now, but they've been heated up. And as they cool, they'll create a vacuum. The lid will, center will go down and you won't be able to push them and get the little pop, pop. We'll actually hear them go pop, pop as they go in and create the vacuum when they're completed.
Okay, so we'll let them sit there for 24 hours. Today we were able to can 19 jars of pickles. We have our kosher dills, we have our bread and butters, and over here we have our spices. So be sure and check out that next video that's popping up. I'll see you there in a few minutes. Bye-bye.